welcome to this class. I'm Darlington Gospel again, and I want to teach you about the require function in Solidity. So if you're ready, let's jump into the tutorial. So in this tutorial, I want to teach you about how you can use the require function to test criteria before performing certain activity or performing certain block of code in Solidity. The require function works similarly like an if statement, if else statement, but they are not exactly the same. The require function is an inbuilt function that comes shipped with Solidity, so it's not customized by you. It's actually being, it's something that comes with the language. So it will help you to test for some criteria, especially if you put it in the very start, the beginning point of a function. It will first check if some certain conditions are met before this person can run an entire function. So let's say for an example, have a company. Let's say this is unsigned integer, and let's say shares, and of course this shares is going to be public, and let's say the shares at default is actually 5%, and we don't want anybody to be able to come and change the percentage of shares of that an individual, the percentage of shares that an individual can have in a company. So we want to create a function that shows if without a require method on it, see how anybody can come and change the share, and then when you add the require method, it limits it to that particular criteria that you set. So let's call this function with no requirement, or let's call it just with no requirement. All right, so it should be public, of course. And what we want to do with this function is to just perform one activity. What is the activity? The activity is to change that share. So let's change the share. Let's make sure we are receiving the share, the intended share that we want to assign to this. Let's say share, and then we cannot see that this share is equal to this underscore share. So this is a function without requirement, and anybody can actually run it, but a function with requirement, let's say let's call it with requirement, and this is how you write it, just similar, but you just add this piece of code to this is the require function. This is how you write a require function in Solidity. So this require take two parameters. The first parameter, it takes two arguments. The first argument is the condition that you're testing for. So I want to say, okay, this MSG, the sender, msg.sender is equal to the owner of this smart contract, the one that deployed the smart contract. I'm going to create that in a moment. If this condition is met, we want this function to go ahead and change the share. But if it's not met, we want to bring out this error on the console saying unauthorized entity. Okay, so that is what should be revealed on the console. So with that done, I want to say this address is owner here, and I want to write a constructor function that we run constructor. Let's say the owner is msg.sender. So the sender or the deployer of the smart contract becomes the owner. So let's compile this thing and see what is going on here. So first thing is saying there is an error here. Let's know what is this error all about. Show me the error. Okay, it's not showing me. So I'm gonna have to come to this place and see the error myself. the compilation tab. Okay, saying that undeclared identifier, do you mean shares? Yeah, so I'm kind of making a wrong statement. Let's remove this s and let's compile it again and see if it's all good now. Come on. All right, compilation is successful. Let's deploy smart contract. Come to this tab, click on what? Deploy. And the deployment has sailed through successfully. Away. So if that sailed through successfully, let's open this smart contract and see what is going on under the hood here. So we have two functions with no requirement and with requirement. So let's see the shares. How many is the current share right now? So the current share is 5. So with app requirement, anybody, okay, let me change it. This is the deploying account. Okay, let's change this person to let's change it to a different account altogether. Come on, a different account. I'm going to select an account that I've not used before, like this one. Okay, and then I scroll down and let's try to change this because this is not the owner of this smart contract. So let's make it 25 shares and let's update this. Okay, process is ongoing right now. Transaction is on the way. Okay, it's successful. And let's check the shares now. The shares is 25 now because anybody can come and update this. Okay, let's try to bring it to 10% with requirement. Let's see what happens. Okay, this particular transaction failed with this report. Okay, so this is the report. The transaction has been reverted to the initial state. Reason provided by the contract: unauthorized what? Entity. Unauthorized entity. Because this person is not the owner of that smart contract. It's not the one that deployed it. So that function cannot allow a stranger to come and change the the share that the company has set as their as the share that they need. So you see so you've seen how important it is to have this require function guarding your customized function. It will help you to shield things against people trying to access your stuff that are not permitted. You see, the share is still 25 even though I check now. So now with that solved, let's use the right account to perform this transaction. So this is the deploying account. So I've selected that. Let's come down below here. Okay, now let's test it with let's use 2% or with no requirement, and let's check that out. Transaction is pending. Okay, once this transaction sailed through, of course that sailed through, I cannot check the shares. The shares should go just fine. It should be now 2 instead of 25. So but I could now use this particular function that has requirement. So when I click on it, because I am an authorized owner of the smart contract, I could change it. And when I check the shares, you see the shares will change to 10. So this is what I'm talking about right here. And you want to make sure that your smart contracts are always being guarded. For ones that need to be guarded, let them be guarded with what this require function right here. So this is how you use a criteria setup to actually filter out unauthorized users from accessing certain functions in your smart contract. Hope you got some vital insights from this teaching today. And if you do, I will really encourage you to subscribe, because I want this to spread and let everybody know more about this channel, because we're going to be dropping more of powerful stuff, especially once we are done with all these beginner things. We want other people to have access, because we're going to be creating mighty builds. Yeah. So in this channel, we're going to be doing a full-blown Web3 project series of them, so that people can know about it. So like and subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next class. Bye bye.